everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're doing something a little different. Now, I know I'm on Showdown, but that's not what we're doing. We are going to be ranking every grass type Pokemon in terms of how good they are in a Nuzlocke. Now, there's a few different factors into how I'm looking at it, involving their typing, their stats, their ability, their moves that they can learn, how good they are in their native game, and in terms of like E4 trials, stuff like that. I haven't played all of Legends Arceus or Sword and Shield at all, so take what I say about the Pokemon from those games with a grain of salt. And also stuff like stats, typing, abilities, moveset is gonna be a lot more important than like you know how good they are into their gyms. And that's kind of honestly just gonna be a repeat of typing. Um, I'm also not going to be covering Pokemon that have Megas or Gigantiforms. I will cover regional variants and like stuff like Toadscruel later down the line. But we're also only doing fully evolved Pokemon, and we're also going to be acting like if it were to be like a randomizer, if you were to bet if there was like a ROM hack that had every single Pokemon, every single one of these Pokemon, so we're not going to be considering levels of how you get them. But yeah, the real like zingers are gonna be like stats, typing, ability, and moveset. So without further ado, let's start with Venusaur. Now Venusaur is a pretty good Pokemon. It's got decent bulk, decent stats all around the board. You can see here good HP, good or middle bulk, okay attack, good special attack and defense. It's a little slow, but it's got workable speed. Grass Poison isn't really like the best typing in the world, but it's not bad by any means. It's very whatever typing. Grass and Poison, they're kind of complementary in that ground will get rid of the or Poison will get rid of or Grass will get rid of the ground weakness for Poison. Poison doesn't really do anything for Ice. It gets rid of the bug weakness actually. Now that I think about it. But other than that, I mean, Venusaur is good. It's kind of gets outclassed by a lot of other Pokemon. Its abilities, Overgrow. Overgrow's pretty good for a Nuzlocke. Chlorophyll is kind of worthless for a Nuzlocke, but it's got decent abilities. Overall, its moveset, right. Its moveset is actually pretty good. It gets a lot of coverage. This isn't obviously all of it can learn. This is just what's in Gen 9. That's also another thing. We're doing Gen 9 learn sets. But it gets a good amount of coverage. It's nothing like too crazy. A lot of ground moves, a lot of good grass and poison moves. It doesn't actually learn any poison moves natively, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's just a very good Pokemon. It's solid to have. 6 out of 10. Now, Vileplume, again, like Bulbasaur, it's a little more... Actually, it's not even that much more bulky. It has a little higher special attack. Again, decent enough defense, but very slow. 50 speed, you're not going to be outspeeding anything. It's not tanky enough to live too many hits. Again, a fine typing in Grass Poison. Grass Poison just in general isn't very good into Kanto. The Kanto gyms at least. It's okay, it's not bad, it's just not... It's not very... It is actually pretty bad into some of them. It hits the first two good, it hits the last gym good, but Elite Four it's bad. The champion fight it's bad. Especially with Poison, it loses to Sabrina pretty badly. It's fine into Koga. It's bad into Blaine. It's just not that good of a typing in a Gen 1. But it's very slow. It's got the same amount of bulk, but just with the reduction in speed, I'd probably have to give Vileplume a 5 out of 10. Next up is Blossom. Again, it's got an okay ability spread. I didn't cover Vileplume's abilities. I mean, if X4 is better than Chlorophyll, and its moveset is, again, just pretty good. I mean, it's got fairy coverage, it's got a lot of bug, stuff like that. It's okay. It's not like anything too crazy, again. Sorry. Blossom, Chlorophyll, and Healer, those are fine. Again, very slow, very similar stats to Vileplume. I think it's more specially defensive. Yeah, it's slightly more specially defensive, slightly more defensive. It just has very low speed, and its attack stats aren't really good enough, with its bulk not being good enough to be able to withstand too many hits and also hit back. Pure Grass is also just the worst type than Grass and Poison, probably. especially into Gen 1. It just doesn't have a very good uh, spread into Gen 1. Chlorophyll and Healer, they're fine abilities, they're nothing too crazy. And stats, again, just not very good at all. Slow, it's not too bulky. It's decent, or it's decently bulky. It'll take a few hits, but it's not nothing too crazy to be this slow and have this poor attack. Its movesets are it's pretty good. I mean, Drain Punch for heal, Dazzling Gleam, a bunch of fairy moves, a bunch of bugs. It actually has a lot of really Strength Sap is pretty good too. A lot of support moves, but stuff like support is a lot worse in a nuzlocke setting instead of like something like competitive. Then yeah, I would have to give Blossom a 4 out of 10. Now Parasect is really bad. Effects War, Dry Skin. Wow, Dry Skin sucks on this guy. Damp. It's got pretty bad abilities. Effects War is good. The rest are pretty bad. Its moveset. It doesn't actually show me the Gen 9 moveset because it's not in the game. Hold on. I have to consider that for these. This moveset is actually pretty good. A lot of coverage, a lot of stuff it can learn just to hit other types, pretty good. But it also gets Spore, which is like the best sleep move. But if you look at its stats, it just is so bad. Poor attack. Besides, it has workable physical attack. Just terrible bulk, awful speed, and one of the worst typings in the game in Bug Grass with 2 4 times weaknesses, a bunch of other just regular weaknesses. It just isn't doing anything before getting outsped in one shot. I'd have to give Parasect a 1 out of 10. Victory Bill is a lot like Vileplume and Venusaur in that it's another Gen 1 grass poison type. It's got a little more going for it in my opinion. It's got better attack stats I think than both. Yeah, it does. It's a little slower than Venusaur. It's a little more... I think it's as bulky as Vileplume, actually. No, it's a little less bulky. It's a little faster than Vileplume. It's a little slower than Venusaur. It's kind of just in the middle of both of them. Obviously, we're not looking at Megas. Its abilities aren't very good. Its moveset is actually pretty good, though, with a lot of coverage, a good amount of coverage. It gets, obviously, the grass type, like... setup moves, not setup, but in stuff like like the powders, the poison stuff. It's not bad in that sense. It gets a lot of good moves. Nothing too crazy again though. Next up is Hisuian Electrode. So obviously, I mean, I'm not actually sure if Hisuian Electrode is even allowed in competitive, but it does get soundproof. It has the same what's it called, abilities as regular Electrode. They're fine. They're whatever. Its stats are again just fine. Besides speed, it's monstrous speed. It has good special attack, so a lot of the times you can volt switch out. You're gonna be doing a lot with outspeeding and just hitting pretty hard or decently hard enough with 80 special attack. It's not like the strongest special attack in the world, but it's fine. It's not bad. Grass Electric is also just a pretty good type compared to the others we've seen so far. Grass Electric is decent. It's not bad. It's actually a pretty good type, yeah. With its speed, it's kind of hard to say its stats are bad, but the rest are pretty underwhelming. And its moveset is pretty nuts. I mean, we see all these different moves for coverage, foul play, curse for setup. I don't know why you would want to drop your speed actually. Seed Bomb, Rest, Reflect, Supercell Slam. A lot of just decent coverage moves. Obviously, it gets the grass type powders and stuff. It gets the electric types, paralysis and stuff. It's not bad at all. With Executor, its abilities are, again, they're just very whatever. Grass Psychic is not a very good type at all. It's probably worse than pure grass. It's not it obviously has the 4 times bug weakness. Psychic doesn't really add anything to grass in terms of like defensive. It's good offensively, but really bad defensively. Speaking of defensively, look at the stat spread. It's got okay bulk, but not enough for how like poor of a typing grass and psychic is. You're gonna be outsped in one shot a lot of the time. 125 special attack and decent attack and HP though. It's not bad. It's a decent offensive Pokemon. Obviously, it gets the grass type stuff like standard stuff and Leech Seed stuff like Leaf Storm. A lot of good psychic moves too. A lot of good coverage moves. It's not a terrible Pokemon. It's pretty good into Gen 1 in general. But it's. Oh, also, I'm just realizing I forgot to give Victory Bell and Hisuian Electrode a rating. I would give Victory Bell a 5 and Hisuian a 7. But yeah, Executor, it's slow but decent attack. Not enough bulk to really be this slow with this bad of a typing. Grass in general just isn't a very good defensive typing. There's a lot of very slow grass types on the lists, but it's just not a very good type in general, for Nuzlocke at least. I would have to give Executor another 7 out of 10, just that monstrous special attack and good coverage. Alolan Executor, on the other hand, its abilities get a little worse. Frisk isn't very good. Harvest, again, is not very good. Its moves, its coverage gets better. It gets a lot more in terms of things it can do with recovery, with the dragon type coverage. It trades its 4 times weakness from psychic into a 4 times weakness into ice, and also gains a fairy weakness, which is a pretty bad weakness to have with how good fairy is as a typing. But decent coverage. It's a little slower than regular Executor. A little more, I think it's a little more bulky, isn't it? No, it just gains attack and loses speed. Yeah, that just in general just isn't a very good idea. It's not bulky enough to live that long, with especially with such a poor typing. Decent moves, bad abilities, poor typing. I'm gonna have to give it another 5 out of 10. Now Tangela is really bad. It's got good defense and special decent. It's got good defense and good special attack and pretty bad everything else. Very slow again. Another slow grass type. We will cover Tangrowth later, but it's not defensive enough to really live anything, especially with such a poor HP stat. It's not that bad of a HP stat, but if you're trying to use it for Nuzlocke, it's not gonna live that long. These moves that have like Sunny Day active, it just isn't very realistic for a Nuzlocke. You're not going to be building pure Sun teams. So that's why I really don't care for these Sunny Day sets. Regenerator is an okay ability though. Its moveset isn't also very good. It's pretty lackluster in what it can cover. It gets some poison, I guess. It gets the powders, of course, but other than that, it's just very whatever. And very bad stats for such a nothing Pokemon. I'd have to give Tangela like a 2 out of 10. Alright, now we're fully into Gen 2, and we're starting off with Meganium. Now Meganium, it gets the normal starter treatment. It gets the normal starter treatment with, middle stats around the board. It doesn't have it's kind of trying to be more defensive, which Pure Grass is not a very good defensive type. Not enough attack, not enough speed, not enough defenses. It just has pretty bad stats all around the board. Now its moveset, because it is obviously a Gen 9 Pokemon, it gets a lot to do. Now look at all of, like it gets a lot of coverage. It gets decent fairy moves as well. Where is its fairy moves on here? Does it not get fairy? Is that only? I know it gets like Moonblast and stuff. Oh well. Maybe I gotta start doing it this way. Yeah, it gets a lot of decent grass type coverage moves. And stuff like fairy fighting. It gets good moves. It's just grass is also famously very poor into actually I don't care that much about it. You guys are just gonna have to trust me. I looked through all their movesets. Like it doesn't really get that many good moves. Actually it gets fine moves now I'm looking at it. Like that's a good amount of coverage. Scarlet Violet, what does it get? Yeah, it's actually not bad. It gets good moves. Grass just isn't a very good typing with very mediocre stats across the board. Defensive grass don't really work, especially when they're slow. Overgrowth's fine. Leaf Guard isn't very good. I'd have to give Meganium like another 5 out of 10. Now, Jump Pluff is interesting. It's pretty fast. It's got poor attack. It's got okay defenses and 95 special, 70 defense, and 75 attack. It just doesn't have the typing in Grass Flying. Grass Flying is probably the worst type in the game. You can be, or one of them. 4 times weakness to ice, gains a rock weakness, loses the electric weakness, loses the bug weakness, but other than that, it's like 4 times weak to ice, 4 times weak to rock, weak to fire, weak to in general, weak to flying. Just it's not a very good typing, especially for such poor attack. Speedy Pokemon, you really do want them to be able to hit hard. Jump Left doesn't really do that. It's more of a support Pokemon, which you can see with its moves. It gets a lot of support moves. It gets Sword Stance for some reason. It gets Tailwind, you know. Tailwind's fine in Nuzlocke. You're typically not really setting up that much. Tailwind's probably like the most it wants to set up with also the powders and stuff. Acrobatics on it's pretty good too. But other than that, it's just very mediocre, very bad typing, terrible abilities. I guess Infiltrator's cool, but not that cool for a Nuzlocke. But bad abilities, terrible stats, and a terrible typing, combined with an okay move pool. I'm gonna have to give it like a 3 out of 10. Now Sunflora is also pretty bad. I mean, good special attack, bad at everything else, terrible speed. Pure Grass is not very good, especially in Gen 2. It gets a lot of coverage moves actually. You know, stuff like Morning Sun for healing, a lot of poison, a lot of... I think it actually gets a good amount of fire moves that it's not showing. Like it's got really good moves. A lot of coverage, but just not a lot to do with these moves. It's just not enough to make a good Pokemon again. Yeah, it's 30 speed on a very frail Pokemon is not a good setup, especially with Grass. Grass is just such a bad defensive type. You really want good speed, but it's good attack stats. So I'd have to give Sunflora a 2 out of 10. You're almost out of Gen 3, but Cacturne is a interesting Pokemon to say the least. It's very forgettable. Grass Dark again. These 4 times weaknesses on Grass types are very common now that I'm thinking about it. But Grass Dark again, it's not a very good type. You really hate to see it. Its stats, on the other hand, very slow but very high attack for just a random one-off. Very frail though. It's got pretty bad stats around the board. Couple that with the poor typing, if it can survive a hit, it will do a lot. But good luck having it survive a hit, especially with 55 speed. It's getting outsped by everything, and with 60 defenses in each, it's probably gonna die to anything. Sandvale, I mean, again, the weather abilities just aren't very good in general in Nuzlocke. Water Absorb. Bye! Water Absorb is fine. I mean, it's already resisting water types, but having another immunity is not bad, especially with Dark having a psychic immunity. But its movesets around the board are... It's okay. It gets a lot of fighting coverage, some poison coverage, but actually has pretty good moves now that I'm looking at it. Toxic Spikes, it's not... You're not going to use it to set up. It's so slow. But it gets good moves around the board. I mean, just... If it does stick around, it will do a good amount. It's just good luck getting it to stick around. Probably another 5 out of 10 in general. Now, Cradily is not in Gen 9. Rock Grass isn't a very good type either. Rock and Grass, you know, it loses the flying. It gains a fighting. Weakness. It loses a lot of its resistances. Like Grass Resist. It's a fine typing. It's not awful like Grass and Dark or Grass Psychic. It's just not very impactful. And again, we have another Hoenn Pokemon that is another slow, somewhat bulky Grass type. It's just not a very good stat spread in general. I mean, 81 in each attack. It's not going to be doing a lot, even if it does stick around on like Cacturne. It's got workable bulk, but just... what are you going to do when you hit back? It's got okay moves as well. It has a lot of, you know. What? Okay. This got okay bulk. Just in general, rock and grass aren't really known for being the most defensive type in general, especially with 43 speed. You're gonna have a hard time just keeping it on the field. Suction cups. It's good for it's good for competitive, but you're not gonna be using it in a nuzlocke. Storm drain is really good though. It's a good ability even with actually you lose the water resistance, but in general, just another 5 out of 10 from Hoenn. Now Tropius, this Pokemon fucking sucks, man. Grass flying again, just an awful, awful type pairing. Uh, Bad stats around the board. No, again, just okay bulk. Terrible attacking stats. Imagine if this had 6-7, and very bad speed, coupled with it doesn't really get. Actually, I think it does get. It gets good coverage. Like look at this. You know, dragon moves. Stuff like psychic moves, a lot of coverage around the board, good amount of coverage. But you're just not going to be able to do anything. It's going to get outsped and killed by everything, especially with such lackluster defenses and such a bad typing. And even if you do stick it around, it's not going to hit anything for anything. I mean, it's just, if you encounter this, it's a wash of a root, man. Now, Torterra. Ooh, I fucking love this Pokemon. Again, decent bulk, bad speed, but actually really good attack and 109 attack. Is workable attack. Grass Ground is also a pretty okay typing. It's pretty good. Um, just offensively, it's pretty good. The 4 times weakness to ice does suck. But with decent bulk, you know, grass and ground helps it hit steel types. Gains an electric immunity, which is nice. Loses the bug and poison weakness, which is pretty good. Uh, Gains ice weakness, and that's it. It loses its water resist, but again, that's it. I mean, if you watch out for ice types and I think it's only weak to ice and flying and fire. Not bad. It's really good. Ground also covers for fire. With decent bulk, with the 105 defense and 95 health and 85 special, it's not going to be a pushover. Slow speed, but it does get a lot of viability in terms of recovery. So like stuff like the drain moves. It gains rest. It gets. I know it gets leech seed, synthesis. It also has a lot of good setup moves with curse and a lot of coverage in general. I'd have to give Torterra probably a 9 out of 10. Shell smash too. Wow. And it gets rocks. I'd actually probably give it a 10. Torterra's a crazy Pokemon for a Nuzlocke. Now Wormadam, again, just the dreadful bug grass type. What was the other one we had that was bug? Oh, Parasect. This Pokemon. Oh damn! I didn't look at Torterra's abilities. I'd also give Tropius like a 2 out of 10. Shell armor. Wow, crazy. No, Wormadam. This Pokemon fucking blows, man. If you look at its abilities, suck. Anticipation blows. Overcoat isn't very interesting, especially for powder. You are a grass type, so you're already immune to powder moves. Um, Now, if you look over here at it's not Engine 9. It gets a lot of not very interesting moves in general. It's not great coverage. And again, you're not doing anything with fucking 59 attacks, the 79 special attack. Okay defenses, awful speed and bad HP. So just with such a bad defensive typing, you really don't like seeing a defensive based Pokemon like this. Is gonna die. Bug grass is probably the worst typing, at least for a while. With such bad abilities and not very good moves either, it's probably our first 1 out of 10. Speaking of 1 out of 10s, Cherim. Now this is a what's it called? Another just mediocre around the board. Nothing it does great. Pure grass again. It's not hitting hard. It's not tanking. It's not really. Its speed is fine. It's not really outspeeding anything though. Like for how it's middle of the pack speed, which isn't very good. Just middle of the pack everything. Again, just not very good. Doesn't really have an ability. It makes it a little bulky. If is this a unique ability? It makes it a little more bulky, but it just isn't very bulky in general. So like these shoot up a little bit, but whatever. Its moves, it's not in Gen 9, so again, you'll have to trust me. It doesn't really have any good moves at all. And there's just so many better grass types like in Torterra and, others. Oh shit, I didn't put Roserade on here. Did I cover Cacturne twice? I wonder. But it really is just gonna have to be another 1 out of 10. Let's see Roserade real fast. Check her out. Now Roserade, again, it's got the decent speed in 90. Good special defense, bad everything else besides special attack. It's specially defensive, good crazy special attack actually for Nuzlocke. And low everything else. Grass poisons, whatever. It gets a lot of viability and stuff like the poison toxic moves, the powders. Natural Cure is also just a really good ability, and Poison Point and Technician. It's really good. It gets a lot of good abilities. Just if its defense was a little better, if its speed was a little better, it would do a lot better. I mean, it's fast, it's bulky enough, especially, and it can dish out a lot of damage. Or you could use it as a utility Pokemon. It's very good. I'd have to give Roserade a 7 out of 10. Line again, just a very slow, not that defensive grass type. It's not like super frail, but it's not very defensive. It's gonna die a lot of times. It's like got okay attack in 100, a decent special attack in 90. Its moves, again, not in Gen 9, you'll have to trust me. It doesn't really get anything that interesting. Levitate's not a very good ability either. It's already got a ground resist, so you really don't need it. I mean, I guess immunities is nice to switch in, but what are you gonna really do? It doesn't get that good grass moves. It doesn't get that good of anything else really to hit a ground type. It's just a very forgettable Pokemon. It's also ugly. I wouldn't want to use it. It's slow. It doesn't benefit from being slow. It doesn't benefit from its okay attack. It doesn't really do anything. Another just 4 out of 10 Pokemon. Abomasnow. Now this Pokemon, I really like Abomasnow, but Grass Ice is just such a bad type. Grass and Ice are already bad on their own. Put them together, they're terrible. Snow Warning is fine, I guess. It's better in competitive than it is in a Nuzlocke, because you're not really building a team for snow. But being able to disrupt weather is okay. It's better than having moves or abilities that benefit from weather. But Snow Warning's good. I mean, I think it is the first to have Snow Warning, but it's got good coverage, decent coverage, actually pretty good coverage, yeah. Its attacks aren't very good. They're decent, but very decently tanky as well. Decently tanky is a stretch. Not tanky enough for its terrible typing and speed and HP. It's very mediocre around the board, which with such a bad typing, you're not doing anything. I'd have to give Abomasnow another 4 out of 10. Now Tangrowth is one of my favorite like defensive Pokemon on this list. Regenerator is good. The rest of these abilities are mid. But 100 HP, 100 attack, bad special defense and speed. But look at the rest of this. I mean, it's a defensive wall. It hits hard, especially. It's a good mixed attacker actually, with good bulk. I mean, Regenerator healing it is also really good. It gets okay coverage. It has sustain and healing moves and like stuff like Leech Seed. With also this amount of bulk, it's gonna be sticking around for a while. It's gonna be annoying to get rid of. Chlorophyll doesn't really matter, if anything, because of its speed. But as long as you know that your opponent is a physical attacker, you'll be able to stay in for a while and dish out some serious damage. I'd give Tangrowth another 6 out of 10. Now Leafeon, unfortunately, is one of the worst evolutions. It's better than Glaceon, but good. It's defensively tanky again. Actually decent speed, good attack too, and okay HP, I guess. But that different defense is nothing to laugh at. It's actually really good. Attack is really good, and it's a fast physical attacker. It gets really good moves like all the evolutions do. Its ability in Leaf Guard, again, just these weather setup moves is not very, their abilities aren't very interesting to me. It gets good moves. I mean, lots of coverage around the board, like all the evolutions do. But in general, pure grass, again, it's not very good compared to what the other EVs you can get. But it's got workable stats. I wouldn't be too mad about picking a Leafeon if I found one if I was playing a randomizer. I'd give it another 6 out of 10. Rotom Mo, again, Electric Grass is just a very good type combo. Levitate, kind of useless like on Carnivines because you're actually no, it's electric, so it's better on Rotom Mo than Carnivine, just because it hits neutrally. It's a good swap in. Obviously the Rotom stats, good defense, good special defense, workable speed, and good special attack. It gets Leaf Storm, which isn't the best, you know, special Rotom ability, but with stuff like 86 speed, you can use Volt Switch, you can set up with Nasty Plot. It gets a lot of good moves, actually. I'd give Rotom Mo an 8 out of 10. Now, Shaman, of course, it gets the mythical hundreds around the board. It's good. It's great, actually. It's actually a really good Pokemon for that regard. Anything with hundreds in stats is not bad at all. It's kind of hard to say it's bad. Natural Cure is also a very good ability, like I said, and Shaman gets a ridiculous amount of moves. I mean, just look at everything it gets, man. It gets a good amount of moves. Just to hit everything and stuff to, healing, setup, coverage. Seed Flare is a crazy fucking move, by the way. Rest for healing, fairy moves, recovery, just really, really nice in general. I'd have to give Shaman an 8 out of 10. And I guess we'll do the Sky form while we're here. Yeah, Grass Flying is a worse type, but it's more min-max into speed. Look at these stats, it's crazy. 120 special attack, 127 speed. Good regular attack and good attack. It's a lot more HP. I mean, it's a lot more frail defensively, but 100 HP isn't anything to laugh at either. Especially with 120 attack, the special attack, and 127 speed, you're outspeeding and killing a lot of stuff. It also gets Serene Grace, which is probably one of the best abilities in the game. Especially with stuff like Seed Flare, that's a almost guaranteed double drop of fucking special defense. Especially with Zen Headbutt too. Wow, it gets a lot of stuff to take advantage of that. That's nice. Really, really good Pokemon. I'd have to give Shaman Sky either a 9 or 10 out of 10. It's really good. 5. So Superior is our first grass type. Obviously pure grass, it's whatever. Overgrow and Contrary. Contrary is a very good Pokemon ability, especially with Leaf Storm, the one that drops your special attack. It's really good, actually. It's got good speed, it's got workable defenses and HP, but not too crazy on the attack. But with stuff like Contrary to boost yourself up, it's not bad. I'd actually give Superior a 7 out of 10. Now Simisage, on the other hand, it's not very good. Again, it's another fast. It's got better attack, but just less moves than Actually, I think it might. Hold on. Let's check. Yeah, it's a lot of dragon moves, but other than that, nothing. I'd probably drop it down to a 6 then. Simisage isn't in the game, but the monkeys all get pretty good moves around the board, especially with the evolution. I think he gets Seed Bomb. It's a decent mixed attacker. Again, a little frail defensively, but better speed than Superior. I'd probably give him a 7 out of 10. He's not bad at all. Now Leavanny, oh man, that was just Pokemon was good. Good speed, good attack, frail defensively, which doesn't pair well with Bug Grass. Swarm, and it gets these abilities again. Chlorophyll and Overcoat, not very good. Swarm also is probably the worst of like the if low boost, just because bugs are very bad defensively. But good attack, good speed, just awful typing to use. It'll die to fucking anything. But I think does he get Quiver Dance? No, I don't think you do. But a lot of really cool coverage moves. I think he gets Sword Dance, which Sword Dance on this guy is a fucking monster, man. Let's hear you Z you. That's sad. But a lot of interesting setup moves. You can also Baton Pass out with that speed. And a lot of good coverage as well. Now, Whimsicott Grass Fairy is a good type. It's better than... It does have a 4 times weakness in Poison, but it gains an immunity in... Like Dark, it gains an immunity in Dragon, which is a very good Dragon or immunity to have. As well as Fairy is still just very good as a typing. It's fast. It doesn't do a lot offensively, but it has Prankster. Now, Prankster, again, is just better and competitive than it is in a Nuzlocke. So, but it does get stuff like, priority spores, priority fucking leech seeds. It's not a terrible ability to have. It's just a lot better to set up like a priority tailwind or taunt. It's not bad though. I mean, I'd have to, just because it doesn't really do a lot offensively, it's more of just a pure setup Pokemon. I'd have to give it a 5 out of 10 as well. Now, Lilligant, Whimsicott's version exclusive counterpart, it is obviously a little worse. Good special attack, decent speed, bad everything else. Good moves actually. It gets Quiver Dance, so if you can get it to set up, it can be a monster. But you know, it gets okay moves. Not a lot. Not I'm looking at a lot to do with these moves. I guess I gotta fucking hold on, man. No, yeah, it really just doesn't get a lot to do with its stats in terms of coverage. I mean, a lot of good grass moves, bug moves. That's it. Yeah, it actually gets pretty bad moves now I'm looking at it. Chlorophyll, these again aren't very good. On temples, whatever. Pure grass, not very interesting. Not very good. In terms of this and stats, I'd give Lilligant probably a 3 out of 10. Now, Hisuian Lilligant is a little interesting. It swaps it to being a physical attacker. Again, Chlorophyll is just whatever. But grass fighting is better than just pure grass. And it gets a lot of really good moves this time. Again, setup stuff with like Victory Dance, Priority and Vacuum Wave even. It doesn't really need it with a good speed. A lot of other good abilities. I mean, Hustle fucking sucks, but very good attack, very good speed. It will die a lot of the times. Just defensively, it's not very good, but it's a good physical sweeper if you can set up on it. I'd have to give Hisuian Lilligant a 7 out of 10. Back to forgettable Pokemon. Maractus is probably the most forgettable one. Bad defenses. 6-7! Bad defenses, okay health, good at special attack, but terrible speed. Again, it's just gonna die and get one shot. Water Absorb is nice, I guess. Storm Drain, it gets 2 fucking water immunity abilities. That's crazy. It's fine for a water switch, but what are you gonna really do? It also does not get like any good moves at all. Pure Grass is also not very good, especially for being so slow. Storm Drain is probably a little better than Water Absorb just for the special attack boost. You can hit back hard if you don't die to anything else first. But yeah, I'd have to give Maractus a 2 out of 10. Not very good. Now, Sawsbuck it's actually pretty decently stats wise. Workable speed, good attack, bad everything else. HP is fine, I guess. Chlorophyll and Sap Sipper. Sap Sipper is actually a really nice ability. So as well as it gets Serene Grace, very good ability, and it gets a good amount of coverage and like stuff like high horsepower, good bug moves, Shadow Ball. Not really useful for a physical attacker, but Throat Chop, I mean, Wild Charge, it gets a lot of really good coverage moves. Normal Grass is probably as good as Grass. It's not like really doing anything. It's not like a crazy typing. I'd give Sawsbuck a 5 out of 10. Among Us, unfortunately, again, it's just good and competitive, I guess. Very bad in a Nuzlocke. I mean, crazy health, mediocre everything else, and awful speed. Grass Poison just isn't a very good type again. It's an okay type, it's whatever, but it's just not that cool. It's cool it gets Regenerator. Effect Spore is good as well. It just also doesn't really get anything to do with these moves, especially in a Nuzlocke. I mean, like, Clear Smog is fine, but like stuff like, what else is it doing besides that? Toxic's good. It's like these utility, like, sort of stall out Pokemons aren't very good in Nuzlocks. Just because you really want either good defensive walls or damage outputters, and he doesn't really do anything. He sets up, but then you're gonna have to swap him out just because he'll get hit pretty hard. Now, on the other hand, Ferrothorn is fucking crazy. Among Us is probably like a 4 out of 10. Now, yeah, Ferrothorn is fucking crazy. Grass Steel is a fantastic typing. 4 times weakness to fire, but just don't set him in against the fire type. Obviously, very defensively focused with 130 defense, 116 special, and good health actually, and decent physical attack to work with. You really are just using him to wall out attackers. It gets really good moves as well, and Iron Barbs is actually a very strong ability when you consider that he is supposed to be a sort of a wall. I mean, you're dealing good damage with your attack, and you're also chipping away when they attack and make contact with you. Very good Pokemon, 8 out of 10. Virizion, This is probably the worst Sword of Justice. I don't know if that's a controversial take. 108 speed, but not really crazy attacks either. Especially defensive, but I mean, grass fighting again just isn't a great defensive typing. It's okay bulk, but you know, it's nothing too crazy. And it's not going to be hitting that hard either with just 90 in attack. It gets good moves though. A lot of the Swords of Justice do get good moves, as just in general with coverage. But it probably is just the worst out of all the Swords of Justice. I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. Chestnut, they really fucking do love making grass fighting types, don't they? Oh, and Justified's a good ability. Overgrow and Bulletproof. Bulletproof is a really good ability. Well, really good. It's a niche ability, but it is a good one. Slow, a little defensively bulky with okay HP and good attack, but again, grass fighting just isn't a typing you want to see on such a slow and on such a slow Pokemon. Really, you don't want to see grass fighting. Where is he? Yeah, he's an RU, which is kind of crazy. Which we're not really looking at, but still. You know, it gets a lot of good setup moves with bulk up. You will be a fucking defensive wall. Just don't let it get hit by a special move. Good other coverage moves as well. Earthquake, Shadow Claw, Rock Slide, Thunder Punch. Good coverage all around the board. Probably another 6 out of 10. Right, now we're in. I mean, I didn't realize how little in terms of grass types that we're in Kalos. But we're into Go-Goat. Really good HP, good attack, and pretty bad defenses though. And with the pure grass type into 68 speed, that's not really what you want to see. So it is a little weak in that sense. Sap Slipper is a good ability though. It gains attack. It's with already a pretty good attack set. If you can manage to stick it in, especially into a grass move, very strong Pokemon in that regard. If it doesn't die to something else. Grass Pelt's whatever, man. Why does it actually have Grass Pelt? That fucking sucks on it. It actually gets a good amount of coverage in terms of like just other moves. Play Rough, Rock Slide, Zen Headbutt, Wild Charge, Throat Chop. Good coverage. But just its speed is a little too low. I'd have to give it a 5 out of 10. Trevenant, now you're going to see Grass Ghost is a typing they love doing. Good attack, okay HP, bad everything else, and an awful speed stat. Natural Cure is pretty good though. Frisk and Harvest are bad. Natural Cure is good, and it does get a good amount of moves just to go around the board. Poison Jab, Poltergeist. Good amount of, actually a really good amount of moves around the board, but just, you know, you're not really going to be, actually gets a lot of special attacking moves now that I'm looking at it. Why does it getting stuff like Focus Blast? It has such a bad special attack. But, you know, with that speed stat, Ghost Grass actually is a decent defensive typing. I actually quite like it, but you're gonna see they fucking love this typing. I'd have to give Trevenant a 3 out of 10. Gourgeist, again, just weird. Obviously, it depends on the type, but the speed really doesn't jump up between the smaller forms in this. And this actually has a good defense stat, decent attack stat, and HP, but just bad everything else, especially speed. They need to stop making slow grass types. It also gets this, you know, it gets like an okay set of amount of moves, better physical moves than Trevenant does. To use with its fucking really good, or not really good, decent attacks out of 100. It just, you know, it also has really bad abilities, and it's gonna get outsped and killed by a lot of stuff, especially if it gets hit with a special move. But again, Grass Ghost is not a bad typing to have. It's actually pretty good. Decidueye, I really like Decidueye. I wish it was a little better. It's not as slow as the other two, but it is still pretty slow at 70 speed. Good attack, good special defense. It's a good mix attacker. A lot of these starters you're going to see is they try to do everything and they do nothing. Grass Ghost, again, whatever typing. Long Reach is actually not bad. Contact moves don't make contact. It's pretty relevant, especially with stuff like Effect Spore, which can really kill a run. It gets a lot of good coverage moves like most starters do, but other than that, it's another... Gourgeist is probably also a 3 out of 10, by the way. You know what, I'll probably give it a 4. I like its stats better than I like Trevenant. Decidueye is probably a 5 or 6 out of 10. Now, Hisui and Decidueye, again, grass fighting, another overdone type combo, but it's a little slower, which is weird. They make it a little better physically, but it's a little slower. Decidueye is a 6 out of 10. I'd probably, with these amount of moves, it is good. I'd probably give him a 6 out of 10 as well. I mean, losing speed but gaining all these moves and a little more attack is nice. Lurantis, man, I wish Lurantis was good. It's another sort of defensive, not really pure grass type with awful speed and good attack, but just not a good defensive typing, not a good ability. Its defenses don't make up for the fact that it has 45 speed. It's gonna get one shot by a lot of stuff, and even its attack isn't enough to make it one shot back if it does manage to survive a hit. And it doesn't really even get that good moves. Lurantis is kind of struggling. It gets decent moves, but nothing like too crazy in terms of coverage. I mean, bug moves, yeah, whatever. Fighting moves, yeah. You'll see in a little bit. The other grass type, I think, which was the version exclusive, is just so much better than Lurantis. I'd give Lurantis a 4 out of 10. All right. Well, I wasn't talking about Shiinotic, and this Pokemon fucking sucks, man. Bad defenses in general. I guess special defense is good. But I mean, okay, good special defense, okay defense and HP, okay special attack, awful speed again, just a very slow grass type, which its defenses do not cover for. Grass Fairy is an okay typing again, better than Grass Dark or Grass Psychic, probably on par with Grass Ghost, but again, it's just very bad defensively and it's very slow. It's going to get hit a lot. I don't think it's in the game, but it doesn't even get any good coverage moves at all. It's got an awful ability. I'd give Shiinotic probably like a 1 or 2 out of 10. It's very bad. Serena is pretty good. It's got workable speed, okay defenses. I mean, it's a little slow, but with good defenses, decent defenses, decent HP, and a very good attack of 120. And a very, very good ability in Queenly Majesty, protecting from priority. Very relevant in Nuzlocke, actually. Especially if you get something down to one shot and it has a priority move, you will be able to sort of nullify that threat. A good amount of coverage too, and stuff like play rough, low kick. A lot of good coverage moves. Triple axles are really nice. Then headbutt, U-turn. And with workable speed and really good attack, it's not bad Pokemon. Probably like a 7 out of 6 or 7 out of 10. Why are you still here? You are supposed to be Delmies. Now Delmies is again a very slow, decently defensive this time, but very slow Pokemon. Its defenses somewhat make up for its speed this time, because 190 in both isn't really too much to laugh at. 70 is also okay. Steelworker basically just gives it stab to steel moves, which it's okay. I mean, Grass Ghost is a pretty good defensive typing. It gets, it's not in Gen 9 again, so you'll have to trust me, but it gets good moves, especially with Steelworker boosting its steel moves. I think it gets Gyro Ball, which is good for speed actually. It's just a very okay Pokemon in general, probably a 5 out of 10. Tapu Bulu is a little disappointing for a legendary. Again, good defense defensively, physically. Good special defense actually. Actually, it's not as bad as I thought it was. It's got decent speed, good defenses, and a really good attack stat. Grassy Surge is also a good terrain setting move. Very disruptive, and stuff like Psychic Terrain Up. Grassy Surge is not bad at all. Heals passively. It also has, it's not in the game, it gets an okay amount of coverage moves. It's nothing crazy. It's probably, maybe, I would say, either the worst or the second worst Tapu, but it's not bad at all. Probably a 7 out of 10. Now, Cortana is so good. Obviously, bad defenses. Actually, good physical defense. But Grass Steel, again, a good typing, a really good typing. It'll die to a piece of any type of fire, though. Especially, one Ember probably fucking one-shots this guy with low health, low attack, or low special defense. But really good speed, a really good attack, especially with Beast Boost. As long as you knock out one guy, you are fucking killing anything. Very good sweeper Pokemon. It gets also a lot of good coverage moves. You can't see, but it gets a lot of good coverage in general. I love this Pokemon. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. If it was it's just a little too frail. Just in general, like, it's a very min-maxed Pokemon, a little too frail for me. So probably a 9 out of 10. Rillaboom is good. I'm pretty sure it's still an OU. Yeah. We're not looking at that. Grassy Surge again sets up your terrain for you. Uh, Very disruptive in terms of just gym battles. Good attack, good decent speed, good HP, uh, okay defenses. It's just good around the board, good stats. It gets obviously the starters get a lot of good coverage again, and good abilities. I mean, Overgrow's not bad. Grassy Surge is really good. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. Set of Pokemon starts with Eldegoss. Eldegoss is awful. Not good. Special defense good. Good or special defense really good. Uh, Good defense, mediocre HP, and bad attacking stats actually. Not very good attacking stats at all. Another defensive slow grass type Pokemon. Cotton Down it's an okay ability. Regenerator is good. Effect Spore is good. The good abilities. It just also doesn't really get any good moves at all. Really bad moves actually. You have to trust me. You can't see, but it gets really bad moves in general. And pure grass again, just not a very good defensive typing. Decent bulk, just not very good. 3 out of 10. Flapple again. They really like making these 4 times grass weaknesses, don't they? Slow, good attack, slow, bad enough defenses for its typing. Ripen and the other ability it gets, which is what's its other ability? Gluttony and Hustle. Wow, you get Hustle as a hidden ability. That's crazy. Not really good in general. Bad abilities. Doesn't it gets a good amount of setup moves, but you're not really gonna be able to set up on this guy at all. Grab Apple's cool. Just a lot of decent coverage moves around the board. Actually, not really. A lot of flying, a lot of grass, a lot of. It's got okay moves around the board, but with 110 attack, I guess acrobatics is neat on it with Ripen and Unburden. It doesn't get Unburden, I lied. With Ripen and Gluttony, it's not bad at all for abilities. Just good moves, slow enough to be annoying with its typing, bad enough defenses to be enough with its typing, probably a 4 out of 10. Now Appleton is the more defensive of the two. It gets a lot less speed, more special attack, more HP, and I think actually this almost the same defenses, a little more specially defensive. Now Grass Dragon again, just terrible defensive typing, especially for such a slow Pokemon. It hits a little harder than Flash. I think it has less. Wow, it has less special attack than Flapple does. Attack, a lot more defensive of the two. Just not very good, especially good bulk with the HP. Just not enough defense and very bad speed. It also gets, I think, less moves. Oh no, it gets a lot of. I think it gets fine moves. It's nothing too crazy, but it gets fine moves. And again, its abilities are just interesting. Fire and Ice weakness. It gets better, really. Thick Fat is good, especially with the times for weakness. So I guess it makes it a regular weakness and actually a resistance to fire type on him. But again, it's not very good. Flapple's probably a little better. I'll give Appleton a 3 out of 10. Now Zarude is interesting. Very fast, very strong physical attacker with decent amount of bulk actually. Dark Grass again, not a good typing. Leaf Guard, not very useful, but it gets a lot of really good coverage moves in terms of fighting bugs, stuff like that. Good coverage moves, decent coverage moves actually. Good setup moves, but really good attack, really good speed. I would give Zarude an 8 or 9 out of 10. What are you ranked in? Yu. That's not surprising. Now, Calyrex. Oh man, this Pokemon sucks. 80s across the board. Not very good, especially for. Is this a legendary or mythical? I don't know. I didn't play Gen 8. I don't play bad games. But Psychic Grass, very bad with the stat spread. Isn't doing anything exceptionally well. Unnerve is an okay ability. 100 health, whatever. It just also doesn't really get any good moves at all. Very bad moves, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Probably like a 3 out of 10. Now, Meowscarada is kind of nuts. Really good speed, good attack. Bad bulk. Bad enough bulk. But Grass Dark, again, it's not a very good typing. Better than Grass Psychic. Better than a lot of the other Grass dual types we've seen. But really good. Its signature move is also really good. It gets a lot. Again, starter treatment, good, very good coverage. Overgrow and Protein. Protein is also a really good ability. Even in Nerfed, it's still pretty good. But yeah, I'd give Meowscarada like an 8 out of 10. 8 or 9. Probably 8. Probably same as Zarude. Let's set up the next set. Olivia, very disappointing Pokemon. Great special attack, decent defenses, and an okay HP stat, but just very slow. Again, just slow grass types are very bad, especially defensively. With grass normal, it's an okay typing. It gains it gains a fighting weakness, it gains a ghost immunity. It doesn't really do anything else for that. It's okay typing. It doesn't really make grass worse or better, and neither does grass make normal worse or better. Um, it gets an okay amount of moves, alluring voice. That's really it. It just gets the standard grass type treatment. Seed Sower is an okay ability. Obviously, the like I said, the terrains are good, just not as good as competitive. They're not as bad as weather abilities. Being able to set is nice, especially with its slow speed. It will be set using Seed Sower a lot, but in general, this is probably a 3 out of 10 Pokemon. Brambleghast, another ghost type, grass ghost type. Decent speed actually this time. Bad defense is very frail. Good attack though. But Wind Rider is an interesting ability. With Wind Move, it gains an immunity to Wind Moves, which is nice. So like Hurricane, kind of negates a lot of its flying weakness for itself. Uh, and it gets a little bit of an attack boost. It's a decent, sweeper in that regard. With 90 speed isn't laughable. It also gets a good amount of moves. I'm surprised actually. Does it actually? Oh no, it doesn't. Now that I'm looking at it again, it gets okay moves. It's workable. Does it get any setup at all? Strength Sap is nice. It has enough sustain. Spikes is nice, especially with high enough speed. Disable Curse, Ghost type Curse too as well. It's an okay Pokemon. I'll probably give it a 6 out of 10. Now Toad's-Cruel. Oh, I wish this Pokemon was better. Um, Really nothing impressive. Offensively, good special defense, good speed. Uh, Bad defense and okay health. Mycelium Might is pretty awful. I think this might be one of the worst abilities I've ever seen. Grass Guard, again, a pretty good typing actually. Covers a lot of their weaknesses, lets it hit steel. A lot of good setup moves, but its setup moves are going second all the time. So you're not even using its speed to any any gain. I don't know why you would want any of these to go second. I mean, like, I really don't get it. It seems awful. Probably like a 4 out of 10. Skull Villain, our first grass fire type, a very interesting typing. A really good typing actually. Uh, just not very good types. Frail and not fast enough to make up for how frail it is. So if you can stick its 108 attack, it's pretty good. Other than that, it's not doing anything. It'll die pretty fast. It gets okay. It gets okay moves too. It's not bad. Just in moves in general, it's not very impressive. Actually, it really doesn't hit a lot. But grass fires, you're gonna be able to just natively hit a lot with that. It doesn't get a lot out of that though. But probably a 5 out of 10. Brute Bonnet, again, another slow defensive grass type. Very good HP this time. And unlike Among Us, which this is based on, good attack, it's a workable attack. Very good workable. Good attack, good HP, decent defenses. Grass Dark just isn't a very good defensive typing though. Very slow as well. Photosynthesis isn't very good. I guess it boosts its speed pretty high, which makes it unusable. But other than that, I mean, it's a lot of setup. You're not doing that in a Nuzlocke. It's got okay coverage in general. Close combat's nice. A lot of good physical moves, but it's not like a crazy amount like the starters get or like legendaries get. It's okay. I'd have to give it for its stats, probably another 5 out of 10. Whoa, Chain, can you believe it? Another fucking grass dark type. Where are you? And you're never used. Again, it's not fast enough. It's got actually really good bulk. Nothing too crazy in attacks though, and not good speed. It'll live a few hits, but it's not really dishing out a lot in return. Grass Dark, again, just not a good defensive typing in general. A lot of good coverage moves in general though. Actually, not really. Again, I keep on thinking like it would be better, but it gets okay coverage moves. It's not awful. It's not great. It's workable. I'd probably give Wo-Chan like a 6 or 7 out of 10, especially for how bulky it is. Now, Iron Leaves, another grass type. This one actually has really good attack speed and not as frail as you think it would be. A good defense, good HP. It can really do a lot around the board. Where are you? Are you BL, which is kind of crazy. Just again, Grass Psychic, probably one of the worst type combos we have seen on the list, but good coverage moves in general. a good stat spread, good coverage moves. Um, yeah, I mean, Swords Dance, you can't really complain. Wild Charge, X Scissor, Protect, Calm Mind, you know, if you want, I guess, to be funny. But this can be a very fast physical sweeper that can also live a hit. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. Hydrapple, they give it the awful type combo of Grass Dragon, but decent bulk, especially defensively and with HP. Its attack isn't very good, as however, so, you know, keep that in mind. How are you, you? That's crazy. It also, its speed isn't, is, I guess it is nullified by the fact that it, it's dropping, it's Intimidate for speed, and its other ability is also really good. But Super Sweet Syrup is not a, it's a pretty good ability. A lot of good coverage around the board in general. Um, with the speed drop, it gets when it swaps in, and decent enough defense and tankiness. I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. Sinistra, another grass ghost type. Again, its defenses are okay. Well, physical defense is okay. Good special attack. Good defensive typing. Hospitality. Wow, that's only really good for. It's really good for what's it called? Doubles. So not really good for a nuzlocke. Heatproof is pretty good though. Basic gives it a fire type neutralness. A lot of decent setup moves. Calm Mind is good. Shadow Ball gets what's it called? Strength Staff, Sun Spore. A lot of really good just retain. Matcha Gotcha is also a very interesting signature move. It heals, it burns, it does a lot. Decent moves, good moves all around. But just not fast enough to really make anything of its good attack, and not frail or too frail to be able to stay around to make anything of its good attack. I'd give Sinistra a 6 out of 10. Now, these are our last 4 Pokemon. We're going to be looking at Ogerpon. Ogerpon Pure with no mask is pure grass. Very good speed, very good attack. It's got workable defense stats and HP. It gets very good moves. All of them get the same moves, I think. I'm pretty sure. With Icy Cudgel switching between each with 100 power, high crit rate. That's very good. Pure grass, though, it's probably the worst of the 3. But Defiance also a really good ability. If it drops in stat, it gets higher attack, which high speed and setup potential. Very good, 8 out of 10. Ogerpon Wellspring, you lose the ability for a held item. Again, the stats are the same, but Wellspring, I think, what's it called? The Wellspring mask, I know this one boosts something. I forget which one this boosts. I think this boosts special defense, so you're a little more specially defensive. I don't think this boosts anything. I think this might boost speed. This boosts special defense, I'm pretty sure. Grass Water is a good typing. Water Absorb is useless on this. It's already taking fucking 1/4 damage from water moves, so why you really need that? Again, Icy Cudgel as a water type move is really good too. Is Icy Cudgel? No, it's not. This is probably it's not as good as base or fire. If we actually look, it's OU. Wow. But yeah, it's good. I mean, not as good as grass for a Nuzlocke. I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. Now, Ogerpon Heart Flame is really good. It boosts, I think it boosts attack, which already with its crazy speed is very good. It's will do a lot of damage. Again, good moves. Good ability in Mold Breaker, hitting through other effects. I'd give Ogerpon a 9 out of 10. And now the last one is Ogerpon Cornerstone. This one's pretty bad. Grass Rock, definitely the worst out of all of these typings. Sturdy is cool, I guess. It boosts defense, which it's the lowest stat besides special attack, so you're really not doing anything. Rock is a good move for Icy Cudgel, though. Or Ivy Cudgel. Probably a 5 out of 10. But yeah, if you like this video, let me know in the comments down below. If you want me to change anything, if you want me to do other types, let me know. Bye, guys.